wheels on fire and do a jump. At night it could be quite spectacular, don't you think?
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Feeling good, Louis?
Those 80s kids remember.
Welcome to Those 80s Kids Remember, the podcast where we reminisce and ponder everything 80s and ask the important questions, such as, how far down did the economics trickle? I'm Rob, and with me today are the rest of those 80s kids.
Craig.
Brian.
Andy.
All right, let's get started. Today we are going to remember John Hughes movies.
Hey, we love John Hughes.
Quintessential.
First off, what's everybody's favorite John Hughes movie?
Oh my God.
Oh, boy.
Well, mine is 1997's Home Alone 3, but we're just doing the 80s. So.
Home Alone 3?
Was Macaulay Culkin even in that one? I mean, goodness.
Oh, that was the adorable Adam Lentz.
What?
And I think he stole everyone's heart, but we can't get into that today, so.
All right, well, my favorite is Weird Science, because any movie where you build a woman, it's got to be good.
Oh my God. I'm kind of torn between a couple of them. I do love The Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Just because it's a very entertaining movie, and now it's gotten to the point 3 decades on where there is some good camp value to it too. Like the pot scene, for instance, you know, that whole schmeal, and Emilio Estevez and his "I taped Larry Lester's buns together" speech, you know, that was good stuff too, you know. Then there's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I'm kind of torn on it.
That might be my favorite one.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
Yeah, either that or I love Pretty in Pink.
Whoa.
Really?
Yes.
You serious?
Yeah.
I love James Spader in that movie. I love the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen Pretty in Pink, and I'm not embarrassed about that.
Well, James Spader, villain.
Yeah.
Actually, what's
I
his
think
name
it's
from 2.5 Men was in that too, John Cryer.
Yeah.
John Cryer plays Ducky.
Ducky.
Ducky
Yep.
the doofus.
Because everyone knows somebody named Ducky.
I would have thought you'd have said 16 Candles, Brian.
You know what? I've only seen that one like once. I like the guy. I thought he was good looking. Other than that, I really don't know that much about him.
He was good.
Well, Molly
I like the way he
Ringwald
dressed,
was
so I
in
thought he was
that.
kind of cool.
What's that?
I always thought the dude was kind of cool. He reminded me of Matt Dillon.
Yeah, he did kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't do anything after that, though.
Kind of, well, he was kind of like a vanilla Matt Dillon. Like Matt Dillon with like no personality.
I don't think he did a lot after that movie. I don't think he did anything.
No, I mean, like, he's one of those guys that if he's not in that movie that you remember him from, you don't even recognize him.
Well, I think my favorite John Hughes movies, which is kind of like a out of left field, is European Vacation.
Really?
Interesting.
John Hughes did that?
Yes. And these are like movies that were like written by, directed by, or whatever, if he had any part of it. But yes, John Hughes did all the vacation movies.
Oh.
Yeah.
The first one, European, and Christmas, and I think Vegas was in the 90s, though.
No, Vegas was 89.
Vegas Vacation?
Vegas was 89. So
No,
yeah.
Vegas was the 90s.
This was 89.
Wasn't that Robert Urich?
The Christmas Vacation was 89.
Yeah.
And the Vegas Vacation was like 97. It was awful.
Yeah.
I saw it in
Yeah.
the theater. Even Cousin Eddie couldn't save that one. While we're on the topic, maybe we could discuss the vacation movies a bit.
Sure.
Like, now that you bring up the fact that John Hughes did the vacation movies, I might have to say that Vacation is my favorite John Hughes movie.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not about the first one, obviously, not European.
Oh, no, the first one. Yeah, the Wally World one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anthony Michael Hall and the whole gamut. And still entertaining today. Still funny.
Still funny.
The ultimate fate of Aunt Edna. I always loved that because I couldn't stand Aunt Edna. I couldn't stand Dinky the dog. I also enjoyed Dinky the dog's fate.
Is that the one where they drove off with the dog tied to the bumper?
He was hooked to the back of the family truckster and the cop pulled him over. You know the
No, I
penalty.
think it's just What's her name? Imogene Coca. Was that her name?
Yeah.
I think I just wanted her to die and be on the top of a car. I just don't like her. She bothered me.
But
As much character Aunt Edna, she bugs me.
oh, the actress even bothered you.
Wow.
Yeah, big time. I mean, just not funny. I just didn't like her.
Okay. Well, see, my thing, I once I discovered that I could go to our local liquor store and rent R-rated movies as like a 12, 13-year-old, I rented National Lampoon's Vacation many, many times. I thought it was funny, number one. And also there was the Beverly D'Angelo in the shower. That was also good. Beverly D'Angelo was pretty hot in that movie, I think.
Oh, God, smoldering hot.
Yes.
She's with Al Pacino now.
Looks like Al Pacino.
They've been together for like a decade.
Weren't all these movies though PG-13s? Weren't these like the first PG-13 movies? That's what I thought. It was like right around 84, 85, and that was one of the things that made them so accessible because it was kind of like they're a little risque, but you could be a teenager and go see them without getting booted out of the movie theater.
Yeah, I think Gremlins might have been the start of that. But...
Gremlins? That's not a John Hughes movie, is it?
No, that was Spielberg.
No, but going back to what Craig said, I would say in my lifetime, there's been two booby scenes that I've rewound more than any others, and it's the D'Angelo scene in the shower in Vacation and the Nightmare on Elm Street. I think it's 2 or 3.
Oh, 3 with the nurse that is actually Freddy.
Craig would know. That's it.
Do you like my body, Joey? Yeah, that scene.
Yeah.
I remember that well, yes. And so does Max. Hiya, Max.
Hi, Max. How you doing?
And, of course, another thing that I loved with that movie as well, with National Lampoon's Vacation, was the theme song by Lindsey Buckingham.
Oh,
I love that song.
Holiday Road. It got you in the spirit of the movie.
Isn't that Kenny Loggins?
No.
Oh, God.
No, that was Lindsey Buckingham.
I like Kenny Loggins, but no. I do love that song, yeah.
Yes. And it was a great road movie.
Yeah.
Lots of fun, even today.
Yeah.
We could do a whole show talking about Kenny Loggins.
Yeah, I was going to say Kenny Loggins.
You could.
You had the little run to Anthony Michael Hall. I like the kids in the first one better than European Vacation.
Yeah.
The two,
Yeah.
Audrey and Rusty in European Vacation bugged the shit out
Yeah,
of me. I'm going to be
quite
honest
as
with
good.
you. Both of
Russ
them
was
did.
awful in European. Just awful. He was a big, oafy-looking, I don't know, dumbass. He just looked like he smelled bad. I didn't like that Rusty at all. I didn't mind the Audrey so much, though.
The Audrey, all she did was frickin' whine the whole time because her boyfriend was back at home, who incidentally was played by Billy Zabka.
There was a really creepy scene in European Vacation where there's a sausage or something, and so it reminds her of her boyfriend, who's the blonde guy from Karate Kid, and the whole thing was just really wrong.
That's where when they're in Germany and they're looking for their relatives and they go to the wrong house, and Chevy Chase knocks on the door and they answer, "Hi, my family and I are looking for sex," because the German number Sech.
Yeah,
sex.
yeah.
For 6, they were looking for house number 6.
Do you remember that scene, Craig, when she looked at that sausage, whatever that is?
Where she looks what?
It's kind of sausage or something. She looks at it and it makes her miss her boyfriend, and it's really creepy.
I don't remember where they were at, but I do remember
they were eating something that I don't know.
Yeah,
they were at a restaurant or something.
They were with their German relatives, but they actually had no idea who they were. They just couldn't speak German, and the Germans couldn't speak English.
Yeah, because they spent the night with them, and then the Germans at the end were like, "Who the hell was that?" I have no goddamn idea.
Because they ate dinner or lunch or whatever the hell it was over there.
Yeah, they spent the night with them, and it turns out they didn't even know who in the hell it was.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And another scene that I always cracked up laughing at was when they got, I believe it was when they got to France and they were showing them their passports, and their passports, the pictures were they just looked terrible. They looked like a bunch of driver's license photos, and the French guys are just sitting there cracking up laughing at the photos. and the family has no idea what in the hell they're laughing about, and the subtitles are typical American asshole right in front of them. That scene always cracked me up.
Yeah.
Isn't this also the one that John Cleese was on the bicycle and they kept running into him and jacking him up?
No, it was what's his name from Monty Python?
Yeah. Not John Cleese, but
Eric Idle.
Eric Idle.
Eric Idle, that's right.
Like, oh no, frightfully, that's okay, frightfully okay. They like broke his freaking leg in one scene, another scene. He goes, he points at something, and the freaking blood squirts out of his wrist. Oh no, that's all right. That's just a scratch. That'll be okay.
I think he used the flesh wound thing from like the Monty Python.
That's how I take Monty Python.
Kind of like brought those together from the night.
As funny as that movie is, though, and it's obviously it's clearly nowhere near the first one. The only thing I can think about when I first think about it is Rusty with that damn beret on, and it just makes me want to kill.
I love that. I love when they're on the top of and that's probably like my favorite scene from the movie is when they're on the Eiffel Tower and he's trying to look all cool for those chicks.
Yeah.
And, hey, how's it going? And they're like giggling and stuff. And
one of them blows him a kiss.
Yeah,
too.
and his name is on his beret. Like they're at Disneyland, and the French chick is like, Rusty, and it's like, and then he tosses the hat off the Eiffel Tower,
and the dog jumps after it. Yep.
Yeah.
Rusty.
That guy's got good memories.
What's that?
The whole thing seemed oversexed. It was almost like they were trying
there was
to
boobage.
make it more naughty than the first one. I don't know. My brother and I saw it with my grandparents.
Well, that's Europe.
So I just remember a lot of awkward moments.
That's Europe.
Well, because Clark and Ellen were in that.
The Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. I was trying to remember what the hell it was, and it was all they were doing, like this topless workout thing. Now, now get on your toes and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And Rusty's in the back, drunk with a hooker.
Yeah.
Well, remember, Beverly D'Angelo's character ends up she's in a porn because they did a video or something.
Yeah, it was a sex tape.
Yeah.
And Clark forgot to erase it, and they got their video camera stolen.
Correct. Yep.
And it gets turned into like this underground sex tape called The White Hot Housewife.
Right. Which she was.
Yes, she was.
Wow. I don't remember any of that. I haven't seen it in so long.
And then she was like kidnapped in Italy. And then Moon Unit Zappa is actually in that movie as well.
The Valley Girl?
Yeah.
Wow.
When they're getting Italian ices, Rusty.
Oh, her. Yeah. I forgot all about her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I remember a lot.
Whatever happened to Moon Unit Zappa?
I don't know.
What about Moon Unit Zappa?
Whatever happened to Moon Unit
The other
Zappa?
Zappa kids.
Oh, I don't know. Was she in that?
Yes, she was at the very end.
What?
Getting Italian ice with
Rusty.
They bump into each other.
Really?
The girl from California is what she was.
Well, that's enough vacation, I think.
Well,
your vacation's over.
What about Christmas Vacation? See,
Christmas Vacation's the obscure one, I think, that nobody's really sees that much.
My sister loves that fucking movie, and I do not get it.
Yeah, it was kind of.
don't
I saw it
get
once. It was
it.
kind of a dud.
I've seen it many times. I saw it. I loved it when I was in junior high.
Yeah.
Watched it last year. That movie is not aged well.
I don't think it. Well,
I would agree.
Christmas Vacation.
Christmas Vacation.
That movie is not aged well.
My story's kind of like Craig. I had never seen the movie until like maybe 3 years ago, and then Amy said, "Oh, you got to see it. It's the funniest thing in the world. You got to see Christmas Vacation." I watched it. I thought it sucked. I couldn't even watch the whole thing.
I hear it. I hear the same thing. Somebody said to me too. It's the great. It's such a holiday classic, and it's just
You either love it or just absolutely despise this movie. There is like no middle ground.
I just don't think it aged well, like Craig said. I just don't think it made it through the years.
The stuff with the neighbors, with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, none of that stuff is funny.
Yeah.
The stuff with Clark falling and the lights and everything, none of that stuff is funny. The Cousin Eddie stuff, I still like. I still laugh at Cousin Eddie. Yeah, Randy Quaid.
Juliette Lewis, I think, is the daughter.
Yeah, Juliette Lewis was the daughter, yeah. I said Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She was the neighbor, remember?
Yeah.
She was one of the two yuppie neighbors next door. None of that stuff was funny.
Nope.
It just, the movie's not aged well. That
I don't think I even saw it when it first came out. It wasn't
did.
until
Yeah.
within the last 5-10 years that I actually saw the movie.
The scene.
Same thing with I hadn't seen it when it came out. I think because I'd lost interest in the vacation movies by that time.
That scene with the saucer where he puts that grease stuff on it and goes flying down the hill.
Oh.
That is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. It was so stupid and not funny at all.
Yeah.
Well, but for whatever reason, the original vacation movie is held up brilliantly. Honky Lips will be funny forever. Honky Lips will never cease to be funny.
Honky Lips?
Yes, Honky Lips.
I forgot. Where they end up getting lost in St. Louis.
Yeah. Roll up your windows, kids.
The hubcaps get stolen.
Riding Honky Lips on her car.
The best part is because you don't see it until later, until Clark starts to lose control of his car when he's asleep at the wheel, and all of a sudden the car rolls by and you just see Honky Lips spray painted on the side. It's funnier than shit because you never saw anybody do it.
Yeah.
It's just like 10 minutes later it just pops up. It's like, holy shit, that Honky Lips.
That scenes with John Candy are hysterical.
Oh, John, the security guard at Wally World, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a real gun, is it, Clark?
But yeah, the Christmas thing, I'm not going to watch it anymore. Even at,
I just made that decision. I'm just not going to watch it.
even at Christmas.
Well, in one of the times that I've watched it, I have seen it. It wasn't really by choice. It was because
you were somewhere.
I was somewhere
with other people,
yes,
and they had it on.
Couldn't escape. There was nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's pretty much.
It's not like the Ralphie Parker Red Ryder BB gun movie.
Christmas Story.
Yeah. That one is always going to be funny.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for comedy to sustain decades and decades because culture changes, people change, jokes change.
The idea of what's funny changes a lot, you know?
Change.
We can't all be Ray Stevens.
And we can talk about this one on another episode or whatever, but Airplane, that's one of the brilliant things about that movie is that it's held up over time. It's still funny.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is. I mean, I know I've had this conversation with you, Rob, about watching MeTV, but go back and watch Welcome Back, Kotter or something like that. The show is unwatchable, pretty much. It's terrible. Up your nose with a rubber hose, and the crowd just, oh, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. And Horshack, oh, Mr. Carter, yeah, I'm Horshack. Listen to me, I'm funny. It's terrible. It's terrible.
That was a really good Horshack. All right, well, one of the comedies which has stood up over time is Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, yeah.
That
total classic.
still has, because... And I guess anytime that something's funny over time, it's got to have a theme that is applicable to today, like Punching School.
Yeah. Part of it is the character himself.
Be applicable. Yep.
Part of it
Punching School. Didn't you ever punch school? What did you skip school?
Punch school?
I've never heard the term punching school before.
Yeah.
I haven't either.
Punch class.
I thought I was hearing things.
Well, I'm from South Dakota, so that's I punch. Yeah, we used to call it you'd punch school. Punch
you guys want to punch school today?
Yes, we did, Grandpa.
Hey. In South Dakota, that's how we did it.
I still love the movie Ferris Bueller. Ferris Bueller, classic character. Matthew Broderick is awesome in it.
Mm.
Ferris Bueller, little bit of a sociopath. I have seen this.
Yeah.
Why? Because he convinced his rich friend to
he's a
joyriding, and
he is a complete bullshitter. Everything in his life is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he gave a rat's ass about his girlfriend Sloane at all. He uses his friend.
Yeah.
He has no consideration at all for Cameron.
Yeah.
Getting Cameron in trouble, nothing. His whole existence is like a giant field of bullshit.
Well, yeah, and proving how he's smarter than the adults.
Yeah.
I think that's the whole plot of the movie. I'm just so much smarter than every
that's
adult on
why-
the face of the planet. is
when you're a
basically it.
teenager, you think you're smarter than everybody
Yeah.
else, and especially the current.
And you're borderline sociopath when you're a teen anyway.
Yeah, exactly. We're all doing that stuff, you know.
No, but Ferris Bueller cared about one thing that in that movie, and that's his day. And that's him and his little day, and that's it. He could care less about his friend. He doesn't really care that much about the girlfriend either.
I don't think he did either. Just remember that those two girls sunbathing towards the end. He turns around and intro. Oh, hi, I'm Ferris Bueller. Like his sister. Remember Jennifer Grey? She was terrific in that film too, as the angry, pissed off sister.
Yeah.
And
Ooh, I got a tale of death here in a minute. Go ahead.
Her whole thing was, my brother is a liar. He is a cheater. He is all this. He is a giant phony, and I want to expose him.
Yep.
And he wins every damn time.
Yep.
He wins.
Yep.
Because he's Ferris, and everybody loves him, and nobody sees through his shit. That was her whole thing.
Yeah.
Is that when she's talking to Charlie Sheen?
Yeah, where Charlie Sheen looks incredibly strung out in the police station.
Drugs?
Yeah.
Thank you, no, I'm straight.
Jennifer Grey, though, she ruined her whole career because she had that big-ass nose, and that big-ass nose was a part of her. And that's what people, I don't know if that's what they liked, but they identified with her. And then she plastic surgeryed it up and got rid of the nose. And
Yeah, it's completely unrecognizable.
Yeah.
Yes, totally unrecognizable.
As Jennifer Grey, anyway. It's not that she looks bad, not that it was a bad surgery or a plastic surgery job. It's just
she just looks like
she doesn't look like herself at all.
No, she just looks like somebody. She just looks completely different.
She got a Muppet nose now, where it's just a big triangle.
No, she just got like a regular nose now.
She's got a nose job.
Yeah.
Hey, did you guys know that, and I don't know, Craig, I think I've talked to you about this before. Jennifer Grey and Matthew Broderick were dating when that movie was made. Sister and brother, a little incestuous thing going on there. But they killed a couple.
Sweet.
They what?
Yeah, killed a couple. Because they were driving on the other side of the road or whatever. They had head-on collision. The elderly couple died.
Matthew Broderick committed vehicular manslaughter.
He was drunk or something like that, wasn't he?
Jennifer Grey was going to therapy for years.
Did she really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was messed up. Wow, she killed a couple of old people, so yeah, kind of messed up.
Who was driving?
Matthew.
Rod, maybe?
Yeah.
Well, why was she so messed up? She didn't drive, though.
She probably saw it.
Yeah.
Well,
no, I know it's. I don't mean to.
That movie still kind of creeps me out, though, because the principal, doesn't he like little wieners and stuff?
That's what you told me. He got busted, like, looking up child porn or something.
Yeah, he's little weenies. So I can't watch that movie because of that guy.
Little weenies.
Maybe that's why he hates Ferris so much, because he's, like, kind of in love with him. He's kind of been in love with Ferris since he was, like, 7 years old.
It's like everybody watching these movies, oh, did you hear what happened to them? Yeah, they were looking at little wieners. Or, yeah, they were caught with a crack in a hotel room or something.
Here's an interesting fan theory that I read on Cracked.com about Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That Ferris Bueller does not really exist. He is an alter ego that Cameron has created in his mind to deal with his own insecurity.
What was that?
My phone was going to die, so I had to plug in my charger.
Oh.
Where were we?
I was giving you that we just talked about that fan theory about how Ferris does not really exist and he only exists in the mind of Cameron.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you come up with those kinds of theories, I kind of think you're overthinking movies. Yep. I don't think these movies
totally agree.
are meant to be, so deeply thought about. I mean,
somebody was really high when they were watching Ferris Bueller's Day Off one day. Yeah.
You'd have to be really fucking high to come up with that kind of theory. I mean, even if you are...
Hey, man, what if, Ferris really isn't Ferris, Stop. Just stop.
Like it's a Fight Club.
Put down the fucking
type
pipe.
It's Fight Club.
That's just,
Right, exactly.
It's like it's not a deep movie for fuck's
Is
sake.
this the Matrix?
John Hughes is dead, right?
John Hughes is dead.
He died like last year or the year before, not too
Something
long
like that.
ago. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, just recently.
Oh, that's depressing.
Anybody ever see Some Kind of Wonderful? Did you guys like
I
that?
did.
Can we
I've never
talk
seen it.
about
I've seen it a few times with Eric. What's his face?
Estrada?
Eric Stoltz.
Oh,
Eric Stoltz
Stoltz.
and
It's Eric Estrada.
oh, that one chick.
Masterson.
Yes, and then the redhead.
Yeah, Molly Ring.
God.
$100 if you can name Eric Estrada's partner. Because
She's she's Marty McFly's mom.
Yeah, Leah Thompson.
Leah Thompson.
Leah Thompson.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a good movie. I mean, that was kind of like I saw that in the theater with my sister, and then I've seen it a couple times after that. I enjoyed that movie. It was kind of a different take on the boy meets girl kind of love triangle going on there.
Oh,
it was kind of
okay.
like,
I agree, and I liked it. I actually saw it with Andy and her sister too. The thing is, see, Andy, tell me if you agree. Some Kind of Wonderful is basically Pretty in Pink, only the genders are switched around.
Yeah, that's pretty much
Ducky,
it.
in this case, is Mary Stuart Masterson,
Right,
and she's sort of an androgynous character that's kind of different and wacky, and then the rich guy is Craig Sheffer, and then the rich girl, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's similar.
Right, and then the Andy, I don't know what her name was in the movie.
Don't know.
Leah Thompson, I can't remember her name, but she was like the Andy character in 16 Candles because she was poor, but she put on this facade that she was like one of them, one of the rich kids, and the rich kids took her, the girls took her in as part of her clique. So she'd always try to like fake off this being something she wasn't, and then that was like the whole thing with the movie, and then in the end, Eric Stoltz and Watts hooks up.
Right, and Mary Stuart Masterson's character is at Watts, right?
that's
Yeah,
Watts.
Exactly. She's like a drummer.
Yeah.
She's basically Ducky with boobs. I mean, it's the same character.
Yeah.
Only it's a chick and she's a drummer. And she has like she desires to be with Eric Stoltz in that movie.
Oh yeah, and that's why she does that. That's why she does that with him because she loves him so much. She just wants to see him happy. So she helps him in his plan to win over Leah Thompson's character. And
then Leah Thompson's character at the end of the movie tells him to go with her.
Yeah, because it was the whole climactic, being invited to the party as a joke kind of thing. And that was like the end of it. And, I don't know, I can't remember if there was a fight that ensued, but at some point, Eric Stoltz's character had bought Leah Thompson's character these diamond earrings.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was like after the thing at the party, they like are out in the middle of the street and she hands him back the diamond earrings, and then he goes and gives them to Watts. And
there's one, and it even struck me as unrealistic back then. There's one super unrealistic scene for me, and that's when Eric Stoltz has no idea like how to make out with a chick. He hasn't kissed really, and so his friend, Mary Stuart Masterson's character Watts, basically shows him how to make out, and that would not happen. That does not happen in the real world. It just doesn't.
Well, it's very nice of her to do that, though, considering how deformed Eric Stoltz's face was.
Yeah, he's not really masked in every movie, though.
I'm thinking of a different movie then. Okay.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, he just
had that face in every flick.
And they don't even mention it.
That's awful.
Of course, he was also in The Fly, too. He was kind of messed up in that one, too.
What?
Number 2.
He was in The Fly, too, Eric
Fly
Stoltz.
too, yeah.
I didn't know there was a Fly too.
Yeah, he was Jeff Goldblum's son.
Like, that's Goldblum.
Huh?
I was like, that's Goldblum.
That's Jeff Goldblum's son. He played Jeff Goldblum's son. The Fly 2.
You're telling me Eric Stoltz was Goldblum's son. Like, what? Okay, the character. Yeah, I didn't even know there was a Fly 2.
Oh yeah,
I didn't either.
It wasn't that good.
Shock.
What's her name from Spaceballs was in it? Daphne
Zuniga.
Yeah, she was in it. It was like from 1989. You can look it up on YouTube. There'll be a trailer for it.
Spaceballs. I hope no one's ever overthought that movie.
Man, I wonder if Barf is really like some existential like character that Lone Star has created in his mind, man.
Yeah, no depth there.
Far out, man. Like, how fast is Ludicrous Speed? For real, man.
What do we got here? Mr. Mom.
This was one of the first movies I ever saw in the theater as a kid.
This was one of the first I ever did either, and it was probably historic because it was role reversal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because before then it was, well, some people still had the attitude that the woman should be at home preparing a nice meal and the man's out working.
Yeah.
And the roles reversed, and Terry Garr went to work, and
Zaniness ensues.
zaniness ensued.
The movie, Michael Keaton, frickin' awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Number one. And number two, I had a slight crush on Terry Garr back then.
Oh, God. I still do, and I think she's in her 90s.
and I think she's got MS, too.
Does she really?
Oh, hey!
I think she's MS ridden right now, if I remember right.
Serious? Really? Terry Garr?
Yeah, you'd have to look it up, yeah, but Google her or something. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
She's sick now.
No, still hot. Whatever.
Well,
I'd still do her. Anyway, Mr. Mom.
Yeah, Martin Mull, great.
Oh yeah, Martin Mull was her boss, who was like trying to hit on her and everything.
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of that tuna place they worked for?
Oh my God! Well, no, she worked at an ad.
Yeah, it was it was some advertising thing.
And
There
the
was some
tuna people were like the big clients that she had.
right.
The account
That's
she
right.
had to land.
The what you call it? The vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
Jaws.
Yeah.
That like ran around by itself and like was like eating shit and chasing people around the house and.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the flirty neighbors boobies, too.
That's right, because he had that fantasy sequence where he was in The Young and the Restless, and Terry Garr ended up shooting him because he was like, she thought he was having an affair with that single divorced gal.
Yeah.
I remember him taking what was his toast? The kid's toast was cold, and he took the iron to the toast.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Or doesn't he take the baby's butt up to the
hand dryer?
Yeah, the hand dryer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was making adjustments to being a stay-at-home dad. The baby ended up eating chili and getting the shits.
Yep.
No.
I don't know if that movie holds up. I think it probably would. I haven't seen that in years. I think it probably would hold up, though. I think it's one of Keaton's best.
Well, it was revolutionary at the time because it was like the man had to stay home and take care of it. Yeah, big joke, huh? Well, nowadays it's like
the issue probably isn't going to hold up anymore because there's lots of women that work and guys who are
guys that stay home dad. Wait a minute. Something sounds familiar here. Anyway,
I did that for a year.
Did you like it?
I did. Yeah. I mean, it was until they came home every day.
Yeah, good answer.
Found you in your underwear and yeah.
No, he's just because I came home every day.
Well, I was going to say I'd be in my room naked and oiled up, but whatever.
Wow.
God damn kids.
Moving on, the next one on the list, this is more of a chick movie, but 16 Candles. What's a chick movie?
Well, it kind of is, but it's entertaining still for anybody. Anthony Michael Hall was terrific in it.
Is he in every movie, every John Hughes movie? Anthony Michael Hall.
Damn
There's
near.
a lot of them.
And whatever happened to him?
He became a knob. That's what happened to him. He became an absolute knob. He bulked up. He started working out. He got kind of big. Then he was in Edward Scissorhands, and he played like kind of a bully. I think he was trying to do everything he could to not be the nerdy kid from Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was pulling a Dustin Diamond where he's like,
Yes.
I'm not really Screech,
Oh, that's
Right.
Screech.
Where,
Jeez.
yeah, but Anthony Michael Hall was huge in Edward Scissorhands, man. He looked like a freaking bodybuilder or something.
Yeah, he was all roided up. He looked weird. It was bizarre. He was like overcompensating. Yeah, it's the same thing with Dustin Diamond. Yes.
Yeah. He didn't want to be the skinny kid from the Breakfast Club and 16 Candles anymore.
That happened to
Yeah,
Joe
he was like, Eric,
Piscopo.
look how big I am. And everybody was like, yeah, we see how big you are, but now you're not funny. We don't want you anymore.
Yeah.
That happened to Joe Piscopo too, if I remember. All of a sudden he
Yes,
like
it
bulked
did,
up, and then
absolutely.
he was obscure after that. You never heard of him until he was at the casino.
Well, Anthony Michael Hall, he still acts. I mean, he doesn't. I don't think he's been in any
Dead
movies,
Zone.
but he's been in like television
The
shows.
Dead Zone.
The what?
The Dead Zone.
The Dead Zone, the TV series for quite a while.
Stephen King. That?
Yeah, he did.
Oh.
Anthony Michael Hall
When
was
was
in the
that?
TV series version of the Dead Zone.
When was that?
Oh God, he was on it for probably 6 or 7 years in the I don't know, maybe mid 2000s.
Okay, yeah, because I know that he still does like guest spots. On,
Oh, yeah.
He'll like some television series will like have a small part, like for three episodes or some shit like that.
He looked like such a little 80s kid. I think once the 80s were done, it's just he was done. I mean, what are you
Well,
going
it
to
was
do?
the Brat Pack thing.
Yeah,
There was a
Yeah.
Brat Pack backlash,
Yeah, it's just I mean, he's kind of like the guy from
Well,
Matt.
He was part of that Brat Pack, but there's a difference. And there's the Brat Pack that went out, on the Hollywood every night and probably got laid. And then there was Anthony Michael Hall, and you kind of knew he wasn't running with that group necessarily when they went out and partied.
Same thing with Screech from Saved by the Bell too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I couldn't think of it. Dustin Diamond. It was like his
Yeah.
name escaped me for a little bit there, so I just called him Screech. But
He's always Screech. His mom probably calls him Screech.
with 16 Candles, you can't completely describe 16 Candles without mentioning the foreign exchange
Yeah,
student.
Long Duck Dong.
Long Duck Dong. Now, there's a joke that's aged well.
Oh my god.
Every time the guy
Hot
speaks,
stuff.
every time that character spoke, a frickin' gong would go off at the beginning. Gong!
That seems offensive to me. Is it not?
It was the 80s. It was all right.
Oh, sexy
Everything was
girlfriend!
cool.
You could still pick on Asian people back in the 80s.
You can pick on anybody.
Well, now
Very
you
easily.
can. Now you can, unless you're white. Then you can pick on a white person.
Pick on crackers, sure.
Yeah, you can pick on the crackers.
They had I liked the party scene in 16 Candles, where they had that big drunken party and the stud of the movie that Molly Ringwald had the crush on, his girlfriend. Remember when somebody closes the door on her hair,
Yeah.
and her hair gets stuck in the door, and these other two drunk chicks show up with a pair of scissors and freaking cut her hair out of the door. That scene still cracks me up to this day. And then she ends up
I
in
haven't
the
seen that movie in years. I need to see it again. It's been a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And then she ends up in the convertible with Anthony Michael Hall. Like the dude basically passes his drunken, passed out girlfriend off to Anthony Michael Hall and says hey, here, you have fun.
You take her. I'm done.
Andy, did you like that guy being a chick and stuff back in the day? Did you think the guy was hot?
Oh, the lead?
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't unpleasant to look at. I don't know. How old
What's
was
wrong
I?
with me then?
I
think
was
still have a
12.
crush
I
on
was
that guy.
12 when
Something's
this
wrong with
movie
me
came
then.
out. I was 12, so I wasn't really quite there.
Oh, okay.
So,
No.
I don't know.
He was just, the dude was kind of vanilla though. You know what I mean?
He was. He
Yeah.
was. I don't know. Physically, he made me question myself, though. I don't know. I don't know.
He was like one of those where Molly Ringwald wanted him so bad throughout the whole movie, and then I just picture her a week after she's with him, bored and being like, "Why did I want this dude so much in the first place?" You know,
I
one
can
of those
see
types
that.
of
I can
things.
see that. Yeah.
See, and this is going to say a lot about me, so maybe I shouldn't say it, but what was it? 2 years later, Pretty in Pink came out. I had a total crush on John Cryer. in that movie. I had
Really?
a total crush on Ducky.
What about John Candy?
Hey, speaking of John Candy, did anybody see Only the Lonely? Did you guys ever see that?
I know what movie you're talking
No,
about.
I never
saw
Heard of it.
Good. How about Uncle Buck? That's another John Hughes.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
you ever
like
see
one of the last movies that John Candy did.
Yeah.
What
One
was
of
the
them.
last movie you did?
He was shooting Wagons East
That's right. He was in
When
the
he-
middle of shooting a movie
when
when
he died. I'm pretty sure it was Wagons East.
And he just had a heart attack.
Yep.
It wasn't
No drugs.
Well, no, it's just bad.
Just big as fuck. I mean, he wasn't healthy.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, he had a healthy appetite. We'll put it
Indeed.
that way. He just didn't take care of himself. Yeah, I think he smoked a lot too,
Did he?
if I
He
remember
did.
right.
It's with Farley. Farley had an unhealthy appetite for a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Food, whores,
Yeah.
drugs. I mean, basically everything he could get his big grubby hands on, he had an appetite for.
Yeah, no.
It
Well,
was actually pretty toxin free.
yeah, he was. Like,
Well, he's a wholesome Canadian.
He just had a genetic thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even like Rod Serling, everybody is, he smokes much, but his like father and somebody else in his family had this heart defect, this genetic, and that's why they say he died young as he did. I'm sure 5 packs of cigarettes a day didn't help, but
Doesn't
Yeah, it's,
but
yeah.
Yeah, Rod Serling died in 1975. He was born on Christmas, which is why I've always considered him Jesus.
He was born on Christmas?
He was, him and Kenny Stabler.
Kenny
Stabler.
Stabler. I always thought Kenny Stabler is kind of a savior, sort of.
Oh, yeah, he had that beard. I mean, come on, it was Jesus playing football.
Yeah, he was a big he was a big party animal back then too. Stabler was the
Well,
snake.
they all
yeah.
were.
But anyway, speaking of John Candy, how about that Uncle Buck?
That's got one of the Culkins. Is Macaulay in that
Macaulay,
one? Or-
yeah,
Is it
Macaulay.
Macaulay
He was in that
Yeah,
one.
it is Macaulay Culkin.
Because
Okay.
they had that big scene with him and John Candy sitting at the table going back and forth,
Yeah.
where Macaulay
That's right.
Culkin says something about his nose hair or something like that. And during that scene, apparently, they had note cards attached to John Candy's forehead
Oh, yeah.
because Macaulay Culkin was like having trouble remembering his line. He needed to say them really quick in this scene because they were bouncing back and forth off of each other.
Yeah, it was rapid fire.
Yeah. So they had the lines on John Candy's forehead so he could read them.
Wow.
Wow. They did it with Brando in The Godfather, and I don't know why Brando needed that at that point, but I think Brando just didn't study his lines.
He never rehearsed. Yeah.
No.
I didn't care.
No.
But Uncle Buck, I think, is probably... It's a good movie, but it's not a very well-known movie.
I agree.
You know,
Less-
as far as, popularity of John Hughes movies, or even John Candy movies go, it's probably one of the more obscure
Yeah.
kind of...
What's
Yeah,
the most popular?
It's not super obscure, but it's not nearly as well known as, say, Planes, Trains,
I
and
was gonna say,
Automobiles, which
that's
is
got to be the most
easily
popular.
one of my favorites.
The I thought Tia was cute. The teenage daughter,
Who
and
played
Uncle
her?
Buck.
Who played her?
Oh, the brunette. What the hell was her name? I can't remember her damn name now. But Brian,
Ernest
you
Borgnine.
what's that?
Ernest Borgnine.
The brunette.
Back to the Ernest Borgnine references.
The brunette. Yeah. she was a bitch, but she was cute. Because John Candy was like trying to keep her away from her boyfriend Bug all the time.
Yeah.
Remember the boyfriend was
Yeah.
like some like emo looking puss bag named Bug.
I can't remember the chick, though. I'm going to have to Google her. I can't remember the chick at all.
Can we do Ernest Borgnine movies some week, please?
I'm gonna look it up.
Wasn't he on McHale's Navy?
Yeah, it was McHale's Escape from New York and McHale's Navy, and then he was in the Circus World or something for many years.
The best part, probably for me, my favorite part of Uncle Buck was where he was at home and opened up his closet and the frickin' bowling ball fell out of the top shelf and bounced off of his head. I was like, yeah, that's good stuff.
You say she played Tia?
Yeah,
Jean Louisa Kelly?
yes, that's her.
Who's the actress?
Jean Louisa Kelly.
Wow.
She's
Never heard of her.
probably 60 by now, so.
She was on a really bad sitcom for a number of years. Yes, Dear. Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
Was that with Judd Hirsch?
No.
Who was in Yes, Dear? No, that was Dear John.
There, Dear John, yep.
Okay.
That one.
I don't
Dear
remember.
John,
That was another one.
I can't remember the name of the guy who was in that.
Why does it keep getting renewed every year?
Had a catchy theme song. Dear John. Poor John.
How could they not renew it with that?
I remember the theme song to Dear John. Yes, I do.
Okay, what else we got here? Other titles. She's having a baby. Ooh.
Excellent movie.
Baconator.
Is that the Baconator?
Kevin Bacon's in that movie.
Kevin Bacon
The
and the
Baconator.
absolutely beautiful. What was her name?
I can't even remember.
Ernest Borgnine.
No, it's not Borgnine. What is her name? Andy, it's Elizabeth.
Shoe?
No, she's on Downton Abbey. No.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's
she
one of my
fell
favorites.
into obscurity for a really long time after making this movie.
Yeah,
And
she
then
did.
she just popped up on Downton Abbey, it seemed like.
Oh.
What'd you say your first name was?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. I know that's right, but I can't remember her last
Montgomery?
name. Yeah.
It's not Samantha.
Berkeley?
With Bewitched.
Berkeley. Showgirls.
Went from that to Showgirls.
God.
It was a good movie though. It was cute. It was kind of different as far
It
as
was very good. Craig, have you ever seen that?
She's having a baby?
yeah.
No.
Never did either.
I know.
Really? Dude, you need to rent that and watch that tonight. That's an excellent movie. It's
Really?
well done.
Yeah, and it's not about it's different in that it seemed at some point he stopped making movies about teenagers, but it was about a recently married couple
Yeah.
and what they were going through.
Wow.
And she's...
And I mean, a lot of it had fantasy sequence type things. Andy, do you remember he's nervous about living in this house in this new neighborhood because he has to keep up with his yard.
Yeah,
he doesn't even know what kind of lawnmower to get.
The
All of a sudden,
dance
there's this
number,
big,
yes.
everybody on the block is mowing their lawn together and singing this song. Do you remember
Wow.
Yeah, the dance
Next
number.
time I'm surfing through my Lifetime movies on backlog, I'll have to see if that one's on there.
One of the Baldwins was in that movie too.
Please tell me it was Steven.
I'm thinking, was it Stephen or Alec who was in that movie?
Alex.
Was it
Alec Baldwin
Alec?
is in
Really?
that.
Yeah.
Stephen Baldwin just always has this look on his face to me that's like, duh. like he's always just thinking, duh.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
He does.
Keanu Reeves, every time I see Keanu Reeves, I'm just
Yeah.
waiting for him to go, dude.
So, yeah, I can't watch that guy. I cannot watch Keanu Reeves, man. I just can't.
Oh, but no, it was a really good. It's touching. It's sweet. It's different. I mean, it was off.
And
of
it's
the,
funny. I mean, it's a hilarious movie. It's
Yeah, it's
really,
really
really
good.
good.
It seems that he kind of produced movies that would kind of go back and forth. You got like a girl movie there, right? I mean, not every guy was
chick
into
flick.
She's Having a Baby, but then he kind of balanced it out and have
Well,
something
that's
that...
not true because She's Having a Baby is told from the man's point of view.
Yeah, but it's for a woman.
It's a couples movie, but you're right. It's kind of a chick flick.
It's a chick flick. But not everything you have, so he balanced it out. So he put out a chick flick, and then he put out an every
Gay
man
porn.
flick or whatever, or every man and woman flick.
Date movie.
A date movie.
A
Yeah,
date
date
movie.
movie. There you go.
One we haven't gotten to yet.
What's that?
The Breakfast
Science.
Club.
Oh, we did not
You
get to the
didn't
Breakfast
yet?
Club.
No.
Now, the Breakfast Club, for me, I cannot think of the movie without that damn song popping into my head.
Oh, Simple Minds.
Don't you
forget
about me.
It's almost impossible.
When you walk on by. That one?
And of course, there's Judd Nelson,
Yeah.
the classic Bender character.
Yeah.
You gotta wonder though. I mean, it was like a whole big clicky thing because I always heard like prior to that, like in the 70s, it wasn't so clicky. Then the 80s came and it became clicky. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is, yeah. And that movie represents, I mean, you had you had one representative from every group, basically,
Right.
Jock.
in detention there.
Yeah.
Anthony Michael Hall was, the nerds, and then Emilio Estevez was the jock. Ringwald, who, by the way, played the same fucking character in every movie she's in.
Yeah, the
was
preppy
little
girl.
princess in this one. They take away a little popularity here and there. She's basically the same chick in every movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here she's a little more of the princess.
She's more
chick,
popular.
as opposed to like 16 Candles, something
Right.
like that. But and then what's her name was the kooky girl who would like
Ali Sheedy.
Ali Sheedy who drew a picture and then shook the
Freak,
dandruff
yeah.
out of her hair for snow and all that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, she was kind of the artsy outcast.
Yeah, the freak, and then Judd Nelson was the burnout.
Yeah, the denim
Here's
jacket.
the thing. I love that movie. I do. I love it. But god damn it, I can't take that dance scene. When it all stops, they're all dancing together, and the guys are
It
doing
made
their
no
little
sense.
dance that they have, and it's these synchronized dance moves. I can't do it.
Okay, let's look at that scene logistically here. Okay, they're stoned. Okay,
Ooh.
who the hell? The first thing you get stoned. Who in the hell thinks I got to get up and dance?
Yep, let's dance. Yep.
And what the hell were they dancing to?
There was no music.
I mean,
No.
picture yourself spying in on that. Like you're not in detention with them, but you just walk by the library and look, and all of them are just like randomly doing dance moves to no music.
Did they have a boombox?
I don't
What
think
boom
they did.
They're in the library.
Well, yeah, where were they?
Well, that's like Library Media Center.
I don't think they would have a boombox.
I just
They would have had one of those old record players that was like, remember they used to get those in the library and it would be a big red thing or a big boxy looking.
Is that how it was in South Dakota?
Yeah, exactly.
All I know is if I was stoned at any point in my life and one of my buddies started trying to dance in unison with me to no music, they would get a, dude, what are you doing so
What?
fast?
What? I'd be dancing for a couple seconds and I'd be like, why are we acting like imbeciles? Dude?
Stop.
Let's sit down, man, and talk about cartoons or something,
Right.
So the whole
Other
movie.
than that was a great movie, though.
Well, it was
Breakfast Club
supposed to
great.
bring everybody together and say we're all just one, see, can't we all get along? And then that happened, and the rest of the 80s, everybody got along.
Well, then there was
Yeah.
the classic, your mind bender. I got
Yeah,
you. I
yeah.
got you. The frickin' what was he? Was he supposed to be the principal or
think
what
he
was
No, he was a teacher.
I thought he was
Okay.
the vice principal.
He was just running detention, basically.
He was I think it was a teacher running detention, but then the wise man was the janitor. So it was like the person you'd least likely think there's all this big point. Well, who would think that the janitor knows all this stuff? And it's like, well, kids really haven't changed.
Another scene in that movie was you remember where what's his name, the vice principal or whatever he was, got Bender in that back room, and he like challenges him to a fight. He like whips his coat off. He's like, "Come on, Bender, I want to see how tough you are." And then
Oh, God, I forgot about that. Wow.
yeah, he's like, "Come on." He's like pointing to his chin. "Come on, I'll give you the first shot. Take the first shot." I know somebody who was like 10 years older than me that actually had a teacher do him once.
yeah.
Did it work?
In the mid 80s. No. He's like, what the hell? I'm not going to hit you. What are you.
Old man, why don't you leave me alone?
Wow, that's appropriate.
Yeah. Well, that was like kind of it broke him down and kind of opened him up. So when Molly Ringwald snuck into the closet, he was just all this, really vulnerable kind of
Well, he just needed a hug.
situation. And then there was always the question.
He just needed
He's
a...
the bad boy who just needs
He
love.
just
Yeah,
needed
yeah.
some love. It's like the lion with the thorn in his paw. Oh.
Yeah. And it was like that brought
the
about
super
the
romantic
question.
scene at the end there when he takes off his earring and gives it to Molly Ringwald.
Which,
as she's being
everybody
picked
was
up by
like,
her
oh, what
parents.
happened in the closet? What happened in the closet? You guys don't remember that. It was like, because they didn't show specifically what happened. They just showed that the
She
two of them
blew
were
it. It's in
there.
an unedited version.
Are you serious?
It's in the director's cut.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
The extended version.
It added another 6-7 minutes on it, and they were running short.
That
Yeah,
long?
running short.
Come on, finish! Finish already!
Jeez.
All right.
I think, the one more that we should probably mention is the Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. We didn't talk about that. And that was a huge holiday movie.
yes.
And I can't remember if it was Thanksgiving or Christmas.
I think it was Christmas, and I was trying to get home for Christmas on time.
No, it was Thanksgiving.
Was it
Is it?
Thanksgiving? That's kind of what I
Because
thought.
they get a deer, I remember.
Yeah, all
that's right.
yeah. That was. I'm just remembering that scene. That car is just basically a frame running down the road. Oh, yeah, it was a classic movie. That was just Steve Martin, John Candy.
Well, even the scenes on the plane when John Candy takes off his shoes.
He's just
Those
so
scenes are so funny.
he's so damn oblivious in that movie. John Candy is. He doesn't mean any harm, but at the same time, you understand why Steve Martin is getting so damn exasperated with the guy.
Right, yeah. Because
he drive you crazy.
Yeah, and Steve was like this pent-up businessman, and that's basically what his character was in this movie. And John Candy is just like, kind of go with the flow. What happens, and it's like how fate just threw these two guys together for.
Also, though, if you guys remember, John Candy's character in it, this is when the movie kind of gets a little sad.
Yeah.
He had been talking about his wife and his kids the whole movie. He doesn't have a wife and kids. His wife had died.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Wow. Ooh, yeah, that was a bummer.
Yeah.
It was.
Wow. And that's what's supposed to, melt Steve Martin's heart in that movie is like finding out this truth and and he gets invited to his house for
because he doesn't have anybody to spend Thanksgiving with and all that.
Puppy dog eyes, and his heart just melts. It's like, oh, come on.
Well, that was the brilliance of John Hughes. He could do the sad, sappy scenes. He could do the funny, hilarious scenes, and then he could have, Judd Nelson getting blown by Ringwald in a closet. So
exactly.
He just ran the gamut on the kind of scenes that he directed.
And then Andrea, you mentioned about how tightly wound Steve Martin's character is in that movie. I love the scene. Where is that scene where he comes completely unglued and drops like 12 F-bombs in like one sentence?
And he compares John Candy to a Chatty Cathy doll.
He's talking to somebody behind a counter. Is it at a car rental place or an airport?
You're talking about the scene with the heavy-set chick.
Where Martin just like completely melts down in front of the counter there, and he drops like 12 F-bombs in one sentence.
I think it was the rental, the car rental.
Waiting fucking this and fucking that. And,
I want a fucking car
and
fucking
like,
now.
What the fuck you just say about this? And she goes, "You're fucked."
Yeah, he just snaps. He just like loses it.
Were there any trains?
Yeah, because they didn't have a rent car for him, I think.
Did they take a train?
Yeah, they took a train, didn't they?
It's in the title, but I don't remember a train.
Well, it's
in
the
that
expression:
movie.
plane, train, or automobile. We're gonna get there. Yeah, I think there's a train.
I don't remember. I remember them driving down the wrong side of the road. Wrong side of the highway, I think.
After she's having a baby, I'll check out planes, trains, and automobiles.
Oh God, that scene where they're trying to that car, the guy and his wife they're trying to yell to John Candy and Steve Martin to let them know that they're on the wrong side of the road, and John Candy's looking at the guy doing the drinking thing.
Okay, thank you. That was too awesome.
That's our show for this week. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to check us out next week when those 80s kids remember toys of the 80s. I'm Rob.
I'm Craig.
I'm Brian.
I'm Andy.
In the meantime, check us out at those80skidsremember.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and SoundCloud. Buy all our memorabilia and dolls and posters. And that's it. We're out here. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.